after that phenomenal vault rotation in rotation number 1. A big reason Oklahoma has caught that early lead, though, is because of Jordan Bauer's vault. She came into this meet ranked number 1 in the nation, and now you see why. Check out that huge block, amazing body position, and really great position when she landed. She's slated to compete the all-around tonight, where she's ranked 4th nationally, and she's also tied for 6th on beam. Let's find out why she's competing so comfortably this year.
So the culture, like coming into OU, you know, like the legacy and the culture that we have here, and we know what the standard is. And you come here to be great, and you come here to get better even before you were. So we all know that in the back of our minds, and we all come together and we just strive for perfection. Last year, I was not as confident in myself at first. Being with the team for the first time was very different for me. I've never competed with a team before. It was hard for me. It was a hard change, but got the hang of it, and really that just like changed my mindset throughout the rest of the season after that. So going in like that, first off the bat, trusting myself, going out there having fun, and trusting in my teammates, and do some great things.
Head coach KJ Kindler said that Jordan is mature, gracious, and she's seen incredible growth in her gymnastics and her overall confidence. I asked her why, and she said she thinks it's because she's been getting to do gymnastics consistently, and she's been competing every single weekend last season, and she has that experience. So she's going to be joining her Oklahoma team and bringing that confidence swagger to beam, and Utah will be battling it on floor when we come back.
North Carolina against Joe Girard in Syracuse. Both games are right here on ESPN and the app. Here is the meet summary at the halfway point. The Oklahoma Sooners had led by a half a point after the first rotation. Utah, with the 4th best score on vault in the NCAA this season, shaved 1/10 off that lead. So they are now behind by just 4/10 of a point. Oklahoma goes on the beam. KJ Kindler, this is her pride and joy. And as always, Jenna Dunn in that leadoff spot, the senior here from Oklahoma City, who has walked onto this team and made herself indispensable by earning a scholarship in her senior year.
And very few gymnasts walk as confidently and securely as Jenna Dunn in this leadoff position. I loved watching KJ Kindler, the beam whisperer, just really giving her last minute. I wouldn't even say instructions, just remembering her cues. Opens with the triple series here, a lot of bonus points, 2 back handsprings, twist, layout, step out. Little details that really matter in a judged artistic sport. The footwork, the athlete should really show precise, high releve, big toe point, secure feet, just like that landing.
How about that? KJ Kindler says the reason she's my leadoff competitor is because I can always count on Jenna Dunn.
Notice the straight legs throughout the entire series. It's not just how you start and finish something on beam. It's how it looks throughout the entirety.
She was in 16 meets as a beam leadoff specialist, 9-9 4 times last year for the Sooners. Abby Paulson now on floor for Utah will lead the Red Rocks there.
Abby opens with a front through to a 2.5 twist, a difficult combination pass. Nice job absorbing that landing. Another combination front layout to front full. Equally important, the leaps in the air, showing that full split, full amplitude. Back 1.5 twist, front layout, nice lift on both of those skills. Lovely routine, punctuated with a beautiful toe point throughout.
Abby Paulson, the senior from Minnesota, has contributed greatly to this program. Scored a perfect 10 on beam. Four-time All-America on that event. We'll see her on beam later as well. Back now to the beam for the Sooners. Jenna Dunn led them off in the 9.875. Here's Ava Sigfeld, freshman, trained at World Olympic Gymnastics Academy down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Oh, with her acrobatics. Oh no. 0.5 of a point off for a fall.
She 14th at the 2020 Olympic trials, then took 6 months off after she hyperextended her knee.
Nice to see that combination as a backup. She combined a dance and an acrobatic skill. Beautiful position in the air on that split jump. Sets up the dismount with a back handspring, swings the leg through to a gainer fall. Good finish, and this is one of the things that gymnasts just must do in college. You don't know what's going to happen in the remainder of the lineup, so you cannot give up any more tenths of a point. Yes, there's a fall. This is the routine score. They will hope to drop. Just rush that back leg down. Didn't really attack aggressively to finish, because sometimes you can make those little corrections if you're aggressive.
We go from one freshman for the Sooners to a freshman for Utah. McKenna Smith will be up now on floor. Abby Paulson led off Utah Utes with a 9.825.
And we were so impressed with the way she opened up her freshman season. Really competed as if she's been doing this for years.
Talking to her coach before the season started, and he said her gymnastics is what I would call NCAA ready. What does he mean by that, Kathy?
Well, that technique was perfect on the front double twist. She is so well coached at the club level. She's got great basics and has really designed the routines well for college. Beautiful floaty layout step out of that 1.5 twist. Really nice level of difficulty throughout this routine. All three tumbling pass, very strong. And as you mentioned, the key to a good college routine is really designing the routine to maximize your score potential, minimize those deductions. Very difficult to do those twisting skills and keep those legs locked tight, feet together. She does a really nice job and a very elegant layout step out.
Jordan Bowers will be up for the Sooners on the beam. A little extra pressure now. The Sooners, remember, coming into this rotation, have a 0.4 of a point lead. Ava Sigfeld only a 9.225, so they would likely drop that score, but it does put pressure on the rest of the lineup because they need 4 hit routines here if they're going to stay ahead of Utah. Sam?
Thanks, Bart. Yeah, this is a really great growth opportunity for Jordan Bowers. Head coach KJ Kindler was actually really impressed with how her team handled the away environment in LSU, and she said one of our goals here is to get comfortable competing in a home arena, which, despite what more people think, it can be more pressure competing in front of your fans. You see she had a slight bobble there, and that's really just not trusting her landings and putting her heels down after that flight series. Good extension on those leaps. Kathy, how difficult is it to go after your teammates' fall?
Well, it's just an added layer of pressure, but the way we usually approach it is it's all energy. It's how you use it, how you focus it, laser focus it on those cues, so you will trust your training and will trust yourself in that situation to just attack those finish positions.
And even though she had that slight wobble, let's see what went wrong. That handspring layout, and really, I think it was just not trusting that layout position. She really wasn't all that crooked, but I'd say it's an overall win considering she handled the pressure after a fall, and she gained a little bit of confidence from that.
Absolutely. They often just rush that finish instead of using their normal rhythm exactly the way they do in training.
Bowers was not consistently in the lineup on beam last year. Now this is a nice moment. Kara Aker, known for her great work on the beam, is in the lineup on floor now for Utah. She's in place of Miley O'Keefe, who had been in the lineup prior to the start of this rotation.
And this is a special treat. Very few gymnasts in college really have the dance chops that Kara Aker does. Oh, missed that. It should have been a front double twist. So she will probably not have her start value. Very difficult double wide turn.
You mentioned start value. Can you explain that, Kathy, quickly?
Well, all the gymnasts have to perform the basic elements for a 9-4 base score. That's easy to do. Then they add bonus with the difficulty in their tumbling and in their dance series and special connections. Usually when you miss one, there's a backup.
Several of the gymnasts have routines that are worth more than a 10. So if they miss a connection or a skill, they have other options to fulfill that 10.0 start value requirement.
This is the first time she's competing floor exercise, and there's really nothing she could do about not having finished that front double twist. Just finish strong here, back 1.5 to front layout.
Big 12 now on ESPN Plus is a must-have for Big 12 fans. The Swimming and Diving Championship begins Wednesday, February 22nd at the Lee and Joe Jamale Texas Swim Center in Austin. Some of the events will only be available here. Sign up today at espnplus.com/Big12now. Here is Audrey Davis now, coming after Jordan Bowers has a 9.725. So Sooners under a little added pressure here. Remember, only a slight lead over Utah into this rotation. They have two scores that are not characteristic of the Sooners on beam. They'll have to count the 9.225 for sure. If you drop the 9.225 for sure.
Beautiful opening to this routine. She shows off her exquisite flexibility and body posture, high toe. Acrobatic series is back handspring leg step up. Very well done. And you'll notice that that second leg didn't rush down to the beam. Sometimes that happens when nerves creep in. You want to get to the finish too quickly. I love the unique little pieces of choreography in this routine. Being done well, it should look easy, effortless. Round off, double twist, and she gets the stick. What a a turnaround for the Sooners right here. That's the exact routine they needed. She handled the pressure perfectly. And on top of that, just exquisite beam work from start to finish. Showcased elegance, flexibility, body posture, precise footwork, just excellent.
Audrey Davis did her club training at the World Olympic Gymnastics Academy down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area as well. Jaylene Gilstrap, the junior from Texas. A lot of Texas gymnasts in NCAA gymnastics. There are so many incredible club programs in Texas. It still blows my mind that there is no Division I team there for anybody. Texas, Texas A&M, Baylor, TCU, Baylor, TCU. Somebody please start a program down there. There's so many great gymnasts in Texas.
Talk about artistry. This routine is performed so beautifully. Gorgeous positions in those leaps. Slightly offline on that final tumbling pass, but the routine itself was just so exquisitely performed. Her dance basics are so strong. This is just pure artistry. And the tumbling pass, nice form in the air. Slightly offline there.
For the Sooners, Audrey Davis, a season-high 9.9 on beam, and that brings up Faith Torres. She's in the all-around tonight at a 9.775 vault and a 9.9 bars after she stuck that dismount.
Side aerial to layout step out. That's the most difficult acrobatic series we've seen thus far. Just a little bit on that first leap. Really want to keep that toe point throughout. I love how calm and confident she is. And watch this round of double back. Very difficult dismount. Few gymnasts choose to do that level of difficulty.
She's very explosive, Kathy. She really gets up in the air on these skills.
The level of difficulty. So hard to put those two aerial moves back to back, especially when the first one is a turning skill, the aerial cartwheel. And of course the double back, nice and high, very difficult and well done.
Back to Utah on floor. Kara Aker had a 9.675, Jaylene Gilstrap a 9.85. This brings up Jaden Rucker. It's worth pointing out she's recovered twice from ACL tears, and she was the 2021 Pac-12 floor co-champion.
She changed this first pass back to her full twisting double back. Step forward, so slightly under rotated. She has two very difficult E passes to choose from. transition pass. It's one of the requirements. One of the tumbling passes has to have 2 different saltos in it. There's the front layout to a front foot. Boy, she had to work on that. She was a little bit off on the first one. She kept her cool though, because that could have gone south. She really was off on that front layout first, but still managed to get the punch on the floor between those 2 elements so she could pull off that front with a full twist.
Senior from Mesa, Arizona, important contributor to this program. Utah, of course, one of the great programs in the history of women's college gymnastics. They have led attendance at the Huntsman Center for years, and they have quite a juggernaut of a program. Reagan Smith will be the anchor competitor for the Sooners. Faith Torres had their second straight 9-9 in a row. Reagan Smith will see if she can recover from that slight hiccup on the bar. Now, look at those 5 scores. That 9-2-2-5 will be dropped, and they'll count those 4 plus this score, assuming Reagan Smith hits this routine here. Little extra pressure on her to make this one.
And you can see the nerves. I just had to remind myself that we are still so early in the season. We saw such incredible form on their first 2 events and stuck landings that usually don't happen quite that way until later in the season. So beam in particular, you really need the experience to know what the pressure feels like, how you make those tiny little adjustments necessary, not let the nerves creep in, tighten you up. Check out the amplitude on this dismount is so high. That handspring to a gainer full, holds on to the landing. Really well done, because I saw the nerves. I could see it in her face, but she just fought through it.
Clutch routine for the Sooners, because they needed a hit here in this anchor spot. Look at that.
Look at that. So it is a requirement to show a full 180. She went beyond that split, and that's what you need to do so that our eyes can register that full split. Tough routine, well done.
2 times member of the U.S. team of world gold medals. Replacement athlete for the 2016 Olympics. Now a senior here at Oklahoma. Reagan Smith delivers an important routine on beam in that rotation. From one Olympic member to the next. Here is Grace McCallum coming after Jaden Rucker at a 9.725.
Opens with a full twisting double back. Good control, kept that front foot down. Grace told their volunteer assistant coach, many of you might recognize Maya Hambrick there in the corner, great LSU gymnast. She's the volunteer coach here, does all the choreography. And Grace said, I want something really fun. I want to be able to break out of my shell. A little bit of a bounce back on that final pass. In elite gymnastics at the Olympics, the focus is on so much difficulty that they don't really take the opportunity to do a fun routine, a fun routine that they can get involved with their teammates, the audience. And she's working toward that. It doesn't come naturally, but she wants that fun to be part of her gymnastics. And of course, great gymnastics, hard tumbling passes.
So that completes the third of 4 rotations, and Oklahoma with 3 big scores at the end of that lineup, 2 9.9s and a 9.95. Clutch on beam in that rotation. Sam is with their head coach, KJ Kindler.
Thanks, Bart. We can't ignore how you started this meet. 49.65, season high on vault. What worked for you guys today?
Honestly, they were finding their landings, and it was like one after another. They were feeding off each other. That first vault, we made us switch late and decided Danny would go first, and boy, was that a good decision.
Are you going to keep that consistent for the rest of the season?
I don't know. I mean, it would be hard to change right now.
You had a mistake on beam. They bounced back nicely. How were they able to handle that pressure?
Yeah, I mean, we had a mistake on bars and beam, and I was really proud of how they bounced back. We haven't been in that situation yet this season, so it's good to see they have that fight in them.
Thanks, KJ. Thank you.
And the Oklahoma Sooners, the lead at just a little over half a point after 3 of 4 rotations. They expanded their lead by .15 on beam in that rotation.